Just wanted a candy. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another season of Specrapular. We are a podcast that talks about movies and shit, mostly shit. And I am one of your hosts, Brandon. Of course, I am joined by my best friend, Mike.
That is me.
And Mike, why don't you tell us what movie we're going to watch today, or what movie we're talking about today, discussing?
Well, it's good to see you too. Happy New Year.
I saw you
Happy
last
holidays.
week. So it's not that I won't ever see you. I'll always see you. It's just as a recording. But to the people, I guess
It's whether or not you notice me outside the window at night.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
With your hand in your pants.
Do it. Do it.
Slowly. Who wants this shit? Eddie?
Who's this shit for?
You're playing pocket pool as you're trying to watch from a window. Yes. So, how was your New Year's?
That's right. Pretty chill.
Okay.
To the point where I was just watching stuff. I didn't realize it was New Year's until I started hearing gunshots and fireworks going off. I'm like, oh, hey, it's the
It
New
could have been
Year.
either or. It could have been gunshots.
Yeah.
Could have been fireworks. I get that. So, what movie are we going to watch today?
Today, it's a big one.
It is.
Well, first, Brandon had first told me that he wanted, should we have a theme for the new season?
Yeah.
I like, that's a good idea. And what we were going to do and might still do, I guess we can discuss it real quick. It's just the ABCs of movies for you and me's.
What he's what he's saying is a movie that starts with A, a movie that starts with B, a movie that starts with C. So, like, some movies might have, like a Sound of Thunder, horrible movie,
A History of Violence.
great short story. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be like
Something legendary like Annapolis.
Arachnophobia. It could just be A, just has to start with it, and B, and so on.
We know how the alphabet works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the way you kind of made it sound was like, we're going to teach you the ABCs of movies.
Yeah.
And we're going to teach you what a...
It's not what I was sounding.
Okay.
That's not what I...
It sounded what it...
No one thought that, except you.
I'd like to think that some people
you're a
probably
child.
did. Okay.
Okay.
So, continue.
So we were going to do that, and I was like, okay, that's not a bad idea. And I was looking on Netflix. There's some pretty good movies, although Apocalypse Now seems like a pretty heavy movie to start a season with.
Didn't you say that Will Smith one was there? I've never seen that Will Smith one.
After Earth? Yeah.
I've never
Well, that was a joke.
I would watch it. Honestly,
Yeah,
I understand.
I don't want to watch it. Well, that's one of the things that I've had an issue with, and this is just us being bitches, or maybe just being bitches, is actually not liking a lot of the movies or having kind of tepid responses to the movies that we've seen. So Apocalypse Now would have been good because I like the movie, but there's just a lot to unpack.
Well, I mean, not only that, but like even knowing the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would have been an interesting discussion. Yeah. Apocalypto, that's another one
that's a rough one.
But it's a really good movie. But then we would have had to get into the stupid
Did
Mel Gibson piece of shit.
Did you know
stuff
that
again
Fuckface
too?
is making another Passion too? It's like Passion.
Jesus Harder?
No, it's Passion 2, like Resurrection, I believe, and I think it's
This time.
he's serious. This. He comes out of the cave like, oh, he's in a cave, right? Is that what we're doing? And he has the Arnold fucking turnaround shotgun, like he has the both hand dual wield. Anyway, but I believe it's called Passion.
That's from Family Guy, right? Like the Jesus getting revenge or whatever.
Well, no, Mad TV had one that was so good.
Okay,
and like he kept killing like the guy that betrayed him. He kept shooting, you can't kill, like, let's just say his name was Joseph. I don't know. You can't kill Joseph, but he betrays you. I know. You can't kill people. Why? And he kept asking why, like repeatedly, because Terminator. Okay, so anyway, we were gonna do the ABCs. And
okay, and I don't know if I made a joke or something about True Lies being...
No. I just told you True Lies isn't on Hulu anymore. It's on shittily Peacock or Paramount, one of those two.
Okay. Because I just rewatched it because you told me it was on Hulu or something. I was like, oh my God, I need to watch it again. So I'm like, oh, at some point we'll have to do that this season too, because that's T right there. Although we would have had to decide between Terminator 2 and True Lies.
I would still pick True Lies.
And that would have been a tough task to take on.
A tough task to tackle.
Damn it!
Come on.
Take on's pretty good, but tackle.
Yeah, but you ended with an O. Like you had all those T's, and you fucking idiot.
All right, stop the tape. Start over.
Okay. There's no tape anymore ever. It's all.
So Brandon told me, he's like, oh, by the way, True Lies isn't on Hulu anymore. And I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was very upset.
So I was like,
I only found out because Hulu. I'm not something on Hulu because Reddit. Because someone asked like, why is True Lies not on Blu-ray yet? And then there was this long thread, and people were like, oh, it's on Peacock, and I commented like an idiot, like, oh no, it's on Hulu. And I got a bunch of downvotes, all this shit. Like, no, it's not, and all. I was like, okay, guys, yeah. I was like, it was a month ago, But like it was literally probably there only like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and it was
that's what
gone.
it seems like.
But I'm glad I got to watch it.
Yeah. So it made me a little nervous about like, well, then how long is Terminator going to be on? It's HBO, right?
HBO Max.
Yeah. I'm like, how long is that going to be on there?
Terminator
And
2.
We really wanted to make sure we got to this movie. So I'm like, let's just put a little.
Is this going to be the T then? Unless True Lies comes back.
Well, it's kind of we're kind of dealing with time travel and causality. So really, we wouldn't have gotten to the list unless we did Terminator first. So then when we get to T, it's there.
So what
Like,
Mike's
what-
trying to tell you guys is
So anyway, so we wanted to do
movie is
Terminator 2.
2.
Just in case it goes anywhere and you guys can watch it if you haven't seen it. I don't know why you wouldn't have seen it because
I'm sure many people, I would say, well, that's the thing. Our general audience is women, so maybe. But at the same time,
it's funny. I always say that, but I'm like, some people just don't like the same things you like, and of course, even like the most.
and they're wrong.
Yeah,
yeah, they're always wrong. If they don't like what you like, then they're wrong.
What's the most like important movie or popular movie maybe that you haven't seen and people would be surprised?
Movie? That's tough because I haven't seen Arcane yet, which is a series on Netflix, and I've heard a lot of good shit about that. But movie?
Yeah, but I'm talking like classic,
Right.
classic, like hardcore classic. Like, like Wizard of Oz or something.
I've
like
never
that.
fully seen that. I know. I've never fully seen Gone with the Wind.
That was my same one. I was gonna say me.
Yeah, I've never seen fully Dr. Dolittle. No, I'm sure there's many movies that I just haven't seen yet. Not out of spite.
I thought you had that Bart the Bear phase where you went through and watched all his movies.
Yeah, I
Dr.
can't help it.
Dolittle,
Yeah, I
The
you know,
Edge, and
I watched Dr. Dolittle 3 before I saw Dr. Dolittle when it's the
is that
daughter.
with Raven-Symoné?
No, it's not Raven, but the daughter from the original Dr.
Oh, okay.
She has the powers now.
Not Raven-Symoné? Who's
No,
the
it
daughter?
wasn't Raven. It was the younger one, the one with the glasses. I don't know what she went on to go do.
Oh, whatever.
But yeah, she became the Dr. Dolittle. And they made the remake with RDJ, which was, from my understanding, horrible.
That's why would anyone do that?
I don't know. Well, I mean, he probably got paid like a motherfucker, but because that's still Avengers time, that's still Marvel.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyway, back to what we're saying. So we're doing Terminator 2 today. Yeah. One of Mike and I's favorite movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We're doing the tremendous Terminator 2 today.
Okay, you did it. Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, no, you could say, yeah. So who's in this?
Terminator 2 from 1991, written and directed by James Cameron and some jerk, forgot his name, William Wisher.
Who I noticed that Mario guy's name. I never noticed that before. Mario's
the
producer. Yeah, it was his film, like obviously produced by him. I was like, I never saw. There's actually a few things in this movie that I'm watching, and I was like, I don't remember ever seeing that.
A little bit. I noticed that too. Well, there's a lot of shenanigans going on with the production because the company that owned half of the right. Well, to get Terminator 1 made, James Cameron had to sign over 50% of the rights to that production company. I forgot the name. Hell, something, I don't know.
Okay.
But then the guy was an asshole with James, and Arnold wanted to change the ending at the last minute. So they're like, we want to do the sequel, but we're not going to work with that fucking asshole again. So they had to wait. Well, luckily, when they wanted to make this one, that production company was in dire straits. So they're like, well, maybe we can get them to sell so we can just have them out of the picture. But then James had divorced his wife, Gail Ann Hurd, who's a producer, and they would have had to pay her out to get the rights to. So there's a whole fucking thing. So
is that the reason why True Lies isn't on Blu-ray yet either? Fucking piece of shit.
Probably.
Yeah, again, that Mario guy, the producer, I never saw his name ever, and
so he might be from that production. I don't have it up. I can't remember.
it's okay. Okay, so who's in this movie? Tell us the synopsis, and we'll go from there.
All right. So, like I said, written by James and William Wisher, directed by James Cameron, of course, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Is he a new actor?
He is old as fuck.
Oh, okay.
He's 70-something. How old is he now?
I mean, it could be a little older than that.
Jesus. Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor.
She's fucking
reprising her role.
Beefed up.
Buff.
Yeah.
As fuck. You know what? She seems more shredded than buff.
Well, she's just very toned.
Thin sinewy.
You could see her when she was loading her shotgun and shit. You see her fucking shoulder muscle.
Her shoulders do
just
broad.
Popping.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of my mom. You never met my mom, but scrawny, skinny. But my mom had some definition to her body. But anyway, so Linda Hamilton, who else?
A young Edward Furlong.
His first movie.
As John Connor. Robert Patrick as the
I think one of his first movies, too.
I think so too.
Yeah, yeah.
As T-1000, and old Joe Morton as Miles Bennett Dyson.
Did you hear about the therapist just died recently?
Oh yeah, I didn't get his name.
I didn't get his name either, but he he's like 81. He was in like all the Terminators.
Earl Bowen.
Yeah, Bowen. Yeah, he just passed away recently. So R.I.P. Rest in paradise, bruh. So, Miles.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh god, here we go.
Synopsis. A cyborg identical to the one who failed to kill Sarah Connor in Terminator 1.
Quitter.
Loser. Must now protect her 10-year-old adolescent son John from an even more advanced and powerful cyborg.
So that movie, when you when the T-1000 would be chasing John and shit like that, that is still very kind of like it makes me uneasy.
There's almost like the string hits too that sound like breaking glass. Like yeah, that's good music too.
I mean, it's the whole thing. Like just we did the sound, not soundtrack, but like the theme. It's just ingrained in my blood to know this song. Just like Predators. I don't remember Predators right now, but the Predators was the So there's just certain auto movies that are just, I think I hold close to me because my dad and watching that shit. And then, fun fact, before we get into the movie, in watching this movie, I was like, man, I wish I had my own Terminator and I had my dad. So like, because he's so similar. Come on, fucking pick up your shit.
Speaking of like music being like ingrained in your entire being, I don't know if my sister was making fun of me or it just so happened to happen.
She's kind of funny.
Yeah. We were at
Women
dinner.
Funny?
Yeah.
What is that about?
So it's her and her girlfriend sitting and watching TV or whatever. And I was at the dining room with my family, just shooting the shit and stuff like that with my back to the TV. And I just heard that from West Side Story. And they see my head go, like, what? Someone watching West Side Story? And they see me turn around and they just start fucking busting out laughing. And then Jen goes, she's like, I told you he would turn around. I told you we would get him. So making fun of me.
It's, you know what's uncanny about not only that, like musical and sound cues and stuff like that, is seeing like just going through channels or walking into a room when there's a movie on or something like that. And I'm like, oh, is this? And it's that exact movie. And not even seeing it for more than 2 seconds. Like you just know, seeing two actors in the screen, or, you know, you heard the whistle from the I was going to say the Socias and the Greasers, but that's fucking Outsiders. But what is it? What are they? Wait, I know this.
You got this.
It was the Sharks.
There you go.
And the...
Think of football. Also in New York.
The Bills.
Sharks and the Bills.
There it is. That's what it was, yeah. Because they wear hats, too.
When you're
we're
the Bill, you're a Bill to the end.
What is it?
Jets.
Jets. Okay, good. Okay. Bills. It's the Buffaloes? Are they the Buffaloes? They're...
They do the little horns on their head. Buffalo.
So anyway, there's just certain things that I don't know. I don't know if everybody's like this, but I just, with movies and television shows, I'm just able to put those two things together. And
I don't want to toot my own horn, but here I go.
I don't want to suck my own dick, but I'm going to suck it right now in front of for you guys to listen.
We went on a cruise to the
Red Flex,
to the Bahamas.
That was a couple years ago, right?
A couple years ago.
Yeah, before COVID.
And they're like, oh, there's a trivia night. I'm like, I'm pretty good at trivia, right? And then we get on the boat. We're like, okay, so what's the topic for trivia tonight? They're like, music theme music. I'm like, okay, so does everyone just want to quit? Because I'm going to fucking murder all of you. And we did it in groups. And it's one of the things where like, oh, just make a list of 20 and then write down all the ones you know, and then we'll switch and then we'll see who wins. I fucking killed that entire place.
Audience.
Yeah.
You killed every single person there, literally. So what did you win?
Although the one I didn't know, which luckily someone else on the team knew, was the Harry Potter theme. I was like, I don't fuck this is.
Wow. Wait, I was gonna just the Terminator again. I know Harry Potter.
Well, I know the little theme, but it was the actual like score sound. I'm like, I don't know what this is. But someone's like, oh, it's Harry Potter. I'm like, okay, good call.
I might have been able to get it. I'm not huge in the books, of course, like reading. What's that about? Why read when I could just watch? No, but I think I might be able to help. I mean, no matter what, I think you would still absolutely dominate in music theme stuff, even in movies, possibly. Well, probably. But I think I could put up a good old college try in that aspect too. So anyway, back to Terminator 2. A quick question, actually, before we get into Terminator 2. Do you prefer, I know the answer to this, I just want to hear you say it, Full screen or widescreen?
What?
To watch.
What?
Just answer the question. Okay. Now, why do you prefer widescreen?
That's a good question. Well, you got like the actual like just logistics stuff where it's like, well, one, the TVs on we have now are all widescreen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a little jarring to see like the side black bars if you're in full screen.
Justice League.
You miss stuff in the frame when they crop it.
Yeah.
Like the side images and stuff like that.
Did you see that recent thing on Reddit? Okay, we always reference Reddit. It was the pod racing scene in episode 1, and it was showing you what you see widescreen, and then it had a box on the screen of how they did it full screen, and like you miss a ton.
The pan and scan.
Yeah, you miss a ton of a movie if you're watching it in full screen.
Someone was just talking. It was probably another movie podcast that on The Godfather 2, since we're on like amazing sequels, you miss Al Neri. Maybe I shouldn't say this if you haven't seen the movie. Well, anyway, you miss a gun being drawn on somebody like at the very end of the movie, because if you were to watch it growing up on TV or something like that, it would cut off that complete. You wouldn't be able to see them. As opposed on the widescreen, where you can fully see the full image, you can see the gun being drawn. So,
well, my main thing about watching in widescreen is that you're seeing the movie the way it was shot, essentially. I know some Christopher Nolan shooting shit in IMAX and stuff like that. Like that's 70 millimeter film. Like fuck, dude. But obviously they can crop that down to when it gets to home video and everything. But it's just you're seeing the whole movie the way you're shot. So you're right. You would miss some things potentially, and it's not always an important stuff because for the most part, it's either centered or you're looking at the rule of thirds kind of thing. So you're not missing a ton. But the prime example.
Did you watch a lot of Terminator in full screen?
No, it's just there was I think it was a scene where she was watching herself on screen where she's like, "You're dead, you're all dead," and like it, even though it wasn't wide, but the way it was filled in the screen, I was like, "Is this full screen?" And even though I know it wasn't, because you still see the black bars, but I just kind of thought like, this is filling the screen weird to me right now. Even again, it was widescreen, but then it made me think like when we used to work at Blockbuster, that people would like return movies like, "Oh, this is the movies has the bars," and it's like, yeah. It's a widescreen movie. Like that's theatrically how it is. And people wouldn't want it that way. Now you can change the aspect ratio, but then, you're missing, because in the old DVDs and stuff, when you change it to full screen, it's just doing the center. Like it wasn't the scan. They didn't have that. And so you're just seeing the middle. So shit would be out of frame completely when even the important things, they just wasn't even in frame. But, I much prefer widescreen. And did you watch this with your soundbar? Mm-hmm. Did you notice the audio was shit? It was low as fuck.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I watched it late.
Okay.
And I had
so
the volume
quieter.
low anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe.
It's shit with the soundbar. If you watch it with like TV audio, sometimes the HBO Max is just like that with some of their titles. I don't know if it's a bad transfer or something, but it was just low.
I think I told you London, my nephew, is into movies right now. Mm-hmm. Like watching.
I saw his icon on to Tyler Durden.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's teenage youth, male youth, heterosexual youth, fucking just the default. Like, of course they're gonna watch.
Have you
Fight
heard of
Club.
Nirvana?
Yeah, well, because they're gonna watch fucking Fight Club and Clockwork Orange, and of course, like all.
He's watching Clockwork.
Yeah,
that one's fucked up.
Yeah, which she had mixed feelings about. Which
as he should. As he should.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was like, oh. He's like, I was like, oh, have you ever seen Inglourious Basterds yet? Because he just watched Django. He's like, well, if you like Django, you'll like Inglourious.
If you know a thing or two about history and you know how things pan out, you're gonna love Inglourious.
So I went to put it on for him because it's on Hulu, I think, for free with ads or something like that through like TNT or something like that. But it said, oh, TVMA, and then it got to some stuff. I'm like, man, they edited out. Well, the transfer or whatever you're talking about, like it's super janky, kind of jumpy, like it just wasn't very good. And then like the scalping scenes, like they didn't show it. I was like, you're missing stuff on here. Cause
did you know that was supposed to be Adam Sandler?
Pretty fucking graphic.
And not Eli Roth?
Yeah.
They're gonna
the Bear Jew?
Yeah, he wanted it to be Adam, and apparently Adam was like this close to doing it, but then he opted not to. But I think Eli.
He can play. Yeah, but he can play crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I think of whoopity doo, and he's like just being silly. But I like Adam Sandler.
Yeah. But of course he's a youth, so he loves the violence. I'm like, hold on. So I went on Amazon. I just rented it. I'm like, now you're watching it for real. He's like, okay. And we get to the...
He starts crying.
Yeah. And we get to the scene where it's like close up of scalping. He's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, see, I told you. So,
but he's like 15 now.
He's 15. He's
he
fine,
can handle it. Yeah.
Or he's traumatized. I don't give a fuck. Whatever.
Yeah, it's like how in the 90s and 80s where video games are rotting our brain. That's why kids are just like I saw recently. Hold on, it was the
No, you hold on.
Yeah, it was the Tupac. I was watching a little bit of this Tupac documentary of like who killed Tupac. It hasn't been found yet, and they're talking about it in the 90s when he had his rap lyrics talking about killing police, and then this guy, this 18, 19-year-old guy, killed a cop, and he's because I listened to Tupac, and Tupac said to do it, and then they put charges on Tupac for it, and I was like thinking that won't happen now. Like that has nothing to do with Tupac, but back then when they had these, even like the satanic, what was it, the in the 80s where like kids were, it was in Stranger Things too. Remember, Satanic Panic?
Satanic Panic.
Yeah. Like it's just, they'll jump on that shit and then I just now makes
I need to look that up right now.
the Satanic
Maybe I just
Panic.
know how that isn't a fucking metal band name. Well, fucking
Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is. At very least.
If you have band names like Cattle Decapitation, Locust, like The Faint, like random shit, I think it should be like Bulldog Millionaire. And,
Okay, there is. Oh, there's a couple. Okay.
Satanic Panics with a Z.
I'm sure this art does not look good, so they're probably not good. But okay, just want to make sure.
Okay, so
It seemed like too good of a name to not have.
oh yeah, it's a phenomenal name. Even Cattle Decapitation, great name. So it makes me just think of that, like when I was growing up, obviously playing video games and stuff, not the most violent games, but still like first person shooters and everything, that when I'd see things on the news like, oh, this is ruining our youth, they want to do this, and I don't have those kind of thoughts. Now, I'm not everybody, of course. Maybe some people out there, of course, they think video games are real. But I mean, fuck, man, to put charges on somebody. Hey, you said these things in your music.
I mean, it was all posturing. It was all politicians, like all looking for scapegoats and stuff like that. Because it definitely wasn't the sexual abuse and the rampant, abuse to all their kids or beating your kids to what, like it definitely wasn't that.
Yeah, you don't want the parents to be held responsible.
Alcoholism. Yeah, it wasn't that stuff. But
smoking while
let's
pregnant.
find something out. Yeah.
But what was your point going to be? You probably forgot.
No, well, it was just a tiny detail. But do you remember the Predator 2 video game, like on Genesis or something like that?
Don't you play as a Predator and Glover?
I think so. But anyway, so there's a spot where like the 3-dot like scoping that he does, and like if you lose, like he shoots you. I'm like, okay, he shot me, but like the brain explodes and like the guts come towards the screen. Like, oh my god, this is so violent! I shouldn't be seeing this.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I never actually played that game.
Okay.
I mean, I played. You know what sucks about the Predator games is a lot of times they're not that good.
Yeah,
like they're not good. Even Alien games. Alien Isolation is pretty solid. But like,
I mean, are there any good movie adaptation games? Because like the most like legendary terrible game is the E.T. game or something, right?
That I mean, that was Atari though. To be fair to it, I mean that was just like a side scroll, not even side scroll. Like it was just like the screen was the room. I don't remember. That was before my time even too. I'm sure there's plenty of games that are just absolutely atrocious in comparison to what the movie is. And vice versa, video game to movie. More video game to movie adaptations are bad.
Yeah.
Especially if like U-Ball does them. Like he did fucking Alone in the Dark, something dark. I don't remember what it was, and it had Christian Slater. What was the villain's name in Blade? Not Skeet Ulrich.
Stephen Dorff.
Stephen Dorff. It had Tara Reid. You already know right there, Tara Reid. But it was just so bad. I was watching even like the trailer.
Tara, short for terrible. Mm-hmm. Terrible Reid.
Terrible Reid. Yeah. Yeah, I feel so bad for her.
I know.
Thinking of all the American Pie
I felt
people.
bad just saying that. Like,
I know.
This is not her fault.
For all some of that is probably her fault with drugs and alcohol. But out of all the people from American Pie, she's probably like, she's gone off the deep end for the most. Like Marissa Vino, Kevin.
She's not in American Pie.
Which one am I thinking of? Which one was the
Elizabeth?
No, that's Elizabeth.
Oh my god, what the fuck is her last
name?
No.
I know. She. I mean, how do you
Shannon
forget?
Elizabeth.
Shannon Elizabeth. There's Jason Biggs. There is
the redhead girl.
Oh, Allison something.
Yeah, Allison Hannigan.
And then there was, I truly like him a lot, is Stifler, which was
Sean William Scott.
I really like him. Was it Kevin Klein? No, that's the older guy. Kevin something was the athlete. He was the lacrosse player. Or whatever.
I don't remember.
And not Mare Savino. God, she was the one that dated Kevin. She was in choir, and okay, whatever.
That's not Tara Reid.
No, Tara Reid was the blonde that was dating the other kind of like, he was the kind of the popular kid.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah, and then there was the guy that banged Stifler's mom. don't remember his name either. Anyway, we're old is what I'm
old.
saying. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna. Okay, so let's get back to this fucking movie. I think I can quote this whole movie, or just like very, very, very close to it.
Definitely.
Every actor, like, even Dean Norris for that fucking 2 seconds. Get out now, get out.
I just so you said you hate the sound of the presentation currently on HBO Max.
Only for listening to it with an external device. If you will use your TV, it sounds fine.
Okay.
But if you use like a sound bar or speakers, then it's just really fucking low.
Because I actually love the little sounds and the sound design in the movie itself.
100%.
So like just the very beginning,
The crunching.
the crunching of the skulls.
I have that written down.
Just their blasters and whatever their guns sound.
The minigun blaster laser thing. Yeah.
Whatever it is. I love when he goes at the end where they're in the
molten lava.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry. Not the end. When he's trying to leave the office building. Cyberdyne.
Yeah.
And the gas gun that he's
Yeah.
that's shooting off the gas, the tear gas cannons, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that sounds cool.
Yeah.
That just sound is in my head like
The Foley and sound effects. Yeah.
hitting the guys.
Yeah. I like that he gets hit in the back and immediately he's like, "Oh, my back." Like, and he says it to his, "Oh, it hurts." So really quick, let's talk about Edward Furlong. He's had a fucking rough life.
Yeah.
It was this movie.
Well, he did a good job because this is like
did
one
a
of those
very good
kids
job.
movies where there was like 100 kids, whatever, and he won the audition.
He did very good for this movie. American History X, very good. Although I heard stuff about that director, he's a piece of shit. Apparently, like he wanted like control.
He's super weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now the stuff Ed Norton did, I don't necessarily agree with either. Rewrites and stuff like that, but still, like, what that director wanted to do, just nuts. Anyway, but Edward Furlong, trouble with police, growing up, alcohol, drugs. Just going back to, do you think of, to ask this question and talk about it more, but do you think that like young Hollywood actors and actresses, like, do you think it just really fucks with them mentally? Or do you think what do you think it is that's really damaging to these?
I mean, it's the whole system that just like
pedophiles, drugs,
chews them up and spits them out. Like I literally was just listening to a podcast about The Exorcist and what like Linda Blair had to go through after that, like dating Rick Springfield when she's like 15 years old and stuff like it's
how old was he though? Was he like
not 15?
19? Remember when I thought that in Licorice Pizza, I was like, yeah, she's like what, 18? You're like, no, she's like 25.
Yeah, she's like 25.
I was like, oh
yeah, not good.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, like I said, like, it's just how they did it at the time. I'm like, yeah, we don't have to fucking like it, but whatever.
Again, thinking of Furlong, just his life, just nonstop, just shit show. But at least he's still okay, right? Because he's still getting paid for Terminator. He's still getting paid for some of these. Yeah,
I have no fucking.
He has to be
idea.
getting paid residuals for certain things.
If you say so.
Well, I would think that only because, like, depending on DVD sales, Blu-ray sales, when it's streaming and stuff like that. Even for TV shows, I know TV shows and movies are different, but like even some people.
Like I haven't done the research. I know like syndication TV deals are lucrative for people.
Yeah.
Like all the fucking Friends people and Big Bang people, like they're just getting paid crazy millions for probably the rest of their lives. I don't know, whatever. But for like movies and stuff like that, I just don't know. I haven't done any research. I'm sure there is some.
Yeah, I think it's similar, but it's different for TV because TV there's a lot more of it, so you can absolutely get a whole season out of it and run them all year long. Look at Comedy Central nowadays. All they show is South Park like all fucking day.
South Park in the Office.
Repeats of Tosh.0. Like just there's not a lot of original programming on there anymore. There is, but there isn't. And like all day it's South Park. Now, big ups to South Park. You've been on for 20 years, 25 years, something like that. Like no shit. But yeah, Comedy Central's gone downhill. And like Workaholics left, and then Broad City was done, and then Tosh got canceled.
Oh,
not him, but the show. Yeah, it's not as, I mean, I don't watch cable really anymore. So anyway, Edward Furlong though, rough fucking life. And I do feel for that because he did a really good job in this movie. I don't know if he actually cried on cue, but
oh yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
he's like what, 12 in this movie, 13 maybe max.
That's a good question. I don't know.
He's little though.
Check it out.
It doesn't matter. And what have it? Dome effect through semi. Oh, so when they first time traveled, when Arnold first came, when he appeared, when it cut off that semi tail, even though I noticed that before, I'm like, that's so fucking cool.
You never noticed that?
No, I noticed, but I just really watching it, I'm just like, That's a good effect.
That's literally one of the things I wanted to bring up. I was like, imagine being that truck driver coming out
Yeah.
from that bar or wherever the fuck after.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just asleep in his cabin.
Could be, yeah.
Like wakes up in the morning, he's like, what the fuck happened to my trailer? Some bullshit.
Now, luckily, it didn't damage inside. Like, it's not like it was a big opening gap, but like, yes, you took off the whole.
It had to have, though.
Maybe a little bit.
Like, if there's the corner, like, it cut off a whole.
But I mean, like, it's not like things are going to fall out unless he's transporting loose rice or corn or something like that. I don't know. But I did think of that. Like, and just having the heat of it, right? Being orange, I think that was completely fake.
Yeah.
But still, did you know that Arnold and Patrick were completely naked?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because Robert Patrick was in an interview recently, and he was like, yeah, like when we did my scenes, we started doing it like a little earlier in the day, and there was a tour bus that drove by, and they just saw my dick. And he said he felt bad, but like at the same time, he's like, oh, it was like one of his first movies.
Because I had heard that Arnold at least had shorts walking up to the bar.
What a fucking pussy.
And then, it's just a story. Some lady walked by like, hey, what's going on in there? And he's like, it's a male stripper night. Because he's wearing just a little shirt. So I don't know. Who knows?
I had read that they were both, I mean,
at that very beginning where they're just
he's
crouching,
butt naked.
Of course they're butt naked.
Yeah. Because there's even a little bit that you see Robert Patrick's cock, like for a split
when
second.
he dips?
Yeah.
Fuck, now I have to
You
remind you.
see a little shaft.
Hell yeah.
You see, like when he's going to pick up the gun, because it's a complex mechanism. He can't manipulate that. You see a little bit of shaft. And I was like,
oh shit,
it looks like he's packing some heat. Yeah,
eagle eye.
Looks like he's cut.
Eagle eye, Brandon.
I mean, we talking some dick. I can tell you some shit. Mr. Skin, I am an avid member of No. So this movie though, Dome effect was cool. Sound effects on point. I hate to say it, but that poor cop, he didn't do nothing. That's very rare. Will I say, oh, I feel bad for that cop. But he was just investigating, pulls out his gun because he sees the perfect cutout of a sphere and dead. What notes do you have so far? Okay, so I got another one since you're yawning. Robert Patrick makes me want to watch Peacemaker again.
Peacemaker?
Because he's in that.
Oh, the TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about The Peacemaker with George Clooney.
No. Is that the one with Anne Heche?
No, Nicole Kidman.
What's the one with him and Anne Heche?
George Clooney and Anne Heche?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking Harrison Ford and Anne Heche.
Oh, it's 6 Days, 7 Nights.
Okay. Horrible.
Terrible. No, Peacemaker is good.
That's the one with the bomber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too. It's like at the end they're in a church or something.
Yeah.
That's an old fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to have been 12 when that movie
Probably,
came out,
yeah.
maybe. Yeah. I think it's out with my dad and my brother. Anyway, Robert Patrick though, I makes me want to watch Peacemaker, but then it doesn't make me want to watch Peacemaker because I know you haven't seen it. But in that show, he's like this blatantly racist piece of shit, and he plays it so well that it's kind of believable. I'm like, I can look at him and think. He probably has an iron cross tattoo.
Probably improvised some of those lines.
Yeah, he's dropping some hard ends right there, and that was not scripted. So what do you have?
Let's talk greatest sequels of all time.
Okay.
Where does this land on your list? If you have a list,
I don't, but I can list a few.
If you have a list or a lisp, either one.
Sorry, Mr. Tyson. I mean, do you only mean number 2 sequels, or could it be even 3s?
I mean, I was thinking more 2s, but yeah, sure, whatever.
Okay. Well, the one that always comes to mind first is The Last Crusade. I greatly like Indiana Jones'
that is
Last
good.
Crusade. Also number 2.
It was better than Temple of Doom.
Yeah. I think what really made that movie so good is the chemistry between him, Harrison, and Sean Connery, and. But then we talked about Sean Connery very briefly earlier, out of nowhere, which is how he used to slap women, which is horrible. But doesn't take away his acting.
In his defense, he didn't say he slapped them. He said if they get out of line, then they need a slap.
Yes.
He could think that and maybe never needed to slap them, as long as they know.
If it's in his head, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
So he's probably murdering and slapping people all day.
As long as they stay in line when they're around him, then they know. But he doesn't have to,
He has some big baseball mitt hands too. So if you get fucking hit, it's gonna fucking hurt.
Speak softly, carry a backhand. I think that's.
He also carries a glove that has diamonds on the outside of it, so just give you a nice clean cut.
Now fuck that. Yeah, that's bullshit.
Right. So number 2 movies, you start, so that way I can get if I can concur with those and.
Well, we have this.
Okay.
Of course, we have The Godfather 2.
Okay.
Which I fucking love. And I probably can't pick between Godfather and Godfather 2. That's how close it is for me.
I would actually say I like Godfather 1 more than 2. Only because I like seeing the rise of
Michael.
I was going to say Tony. Yeah. But then number 2 had the betrayal of his brother, which it broke my heart. and then he gets killed in 2, right? Fredo. Yeah, on the lake or whatever.
That's what I was trying to not say earlier,
I don't give a
and
fuck.
You said it. Okay.
If people, I'm sure people, by now,
it's fucking 50 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, get the fuck out of here. Okay, so continue.
Well, I think what it is, it's because I feel like they're like one whole saga together. So I almost think of them as one whole movie, at least for me.
Sure.
Because like the Vito stuff from early New York, like his rise, that's in part 2, is actually in the Godfather book.
Okay,
like
when it was De Niro.
Yeah. So like Godfather, the book itself is actually just all the stuff from the Godfather 1 movie, plus the Vito stuff from growing up, plus some other stuff in like Vegas and stuff like that. But the stuff they made up was the later Michael stuff in Tahoe and stuff like that. But anyway, so I think I'm that as one. The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That one is definitely better than Batman
Begins. Yes, 100%.
Aliens.
Get away
Plural.
from me, you bitch. Yeah, 100%.
Which is weird because like he's made like 2 of the greatest sequels of all time, which is actually pretty interesting. James Cameron.
Well, and then you look at Avatar 2, Avatar Harder, like that's made over $1 billion in like 2 weeks. I didn't think he would do it. I was like, nah, it's taking too long, Cameron. Like, you fucked up.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Like the Maverick stuff, because Maverick made a lot of. Oh, Maverick is better than Top Gun, I guess.
I like Maverick a lot.
But Maverick seemed to have like a cultural moment, like in the movie itself. Like everyone's like, "Oh man, it's back! It's amazing!" Blah 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 blah. The Avatar stuff seems to be like its cultural moment is just how much money it's making. Like
Which
it's
that is
like it's just making itself.
Yeah.
But there's not like you're not like it's hard to compare to this movie because all we do is quote this movie just every goddamn day, every time we see each other. But like, does anyone quote anything from Avatar ever? Maybe I will admit, that colonel with the scar on his eye.
I will admit
maybe
he was a badass in that movie. I mean, he's in that robot using a knife, like the huge knife. Like that movie.
Call that a knife?
Yeah, I always say fucking knife that way. He's using a knife. Avatar was a good movie. Like in watching it, like I enjoyed it. I was
but like its impact on like culture and movie culture, like other than like, ooh, the special effects are cool, which they were, but like quotes and
I can't do it.
Memorable characters.
Yeah, I can't do it. Sigourney's in it though, and I love Sigourney. That's true. So, do you have anything else?
Before Sunset, sequel to Before Sunrise.
That's a trilogy, right?
Yeah, that's part 2.
Okay,
like the ending of part 2.
Chef's Kiss.
Chef's Kiss.
Okay,
so good. Evil Dead 2, which is more fun and silly.
Very silly. Very campy. Army of Darkness was super fucking silly though.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Interesting, but
wait, did you see the Evil Dead trailer
for the new Evil Dead Rises?
Yeah.
No.
Holy fucking shit!
Looks super scary.
In 2 minutes, I was like, nope, not seeing this in the theater.
Oh, really?
It looks spooky as shit.
Okay, I'm definitely.
And I was watching it in a fully lit room. I was at work, and I was like, granted, I had headphones on, so you can hear a little more of the sound effects. But like, I was like,
there was
nope.
There was an Evil Dead remake too recently, right?
Yeah, a couple years. Yeah, like in 20.
I'm trying to think if I saw it. I don't remember.
It was
if I
bloody
saw it.
as fuck. I only saw highlights of it. I didn't watch the actual movie itself, but it was super. Just, I mean, every Evil Dead movie is bloody. Well, the first one was. Number 2 wasn't that bloody, but
number 2. What? Anyway, go ahead.
Sorry. So this movie though, in watching it, I was like, oh my god, like it looks genuinely
terrifying.
Yeah, scary, creepy, and they're praying like, cause there's a child in it too, and like it's the child's mom that gets possessed, and just some of the scenes like, let mommy in, and she's all fucked up looking.
No shit.
Wait,
like, did you watch like a Red Band trailer?
I don't know, honestly. I might have, but like again, I don't know if I'd watch this in theaters.
It's just clearly, just so we're clear, you watched a Red Band trailer on your work computer when you should have been working.
So here's the thing about my work computer. I already have it set up that it doesn't keep track of my my shit, and I use my VPN on there, and so
incognito, motherfucker.
Yeah, and I use Firefox.
Yeah.
So it's safer.
All right, we're cool then.
Yeah. Any other movies?
Here's an interesting one because it's all just in the universe.
This is a hot take, bro.
But no, I don't think so. I think
Iron Man 2.
Nah, fuck that. But you're on the right track. Winter Soldier over Captain America.
Yeah, much better.
That movie's super fucking good.
Mm-hmm. Civil War is great.
Yeah,
that's Captain America too, right?
That's
Civil
3.
War. Which one's the second one?
Winter Soldier.
Okay, yeah. When they introduce Bucky again. Yeah. Super good shit.
Superman 2.
Which one was that one? With Henry Cavill?
No, the original Superman.
Oh, with no, I was gonna say Dean Cain. With
that was like the Donner cut, all that bullshit because he got kicked out.
That's not the one where he went back in time. That was the first one.
That's the first one.
Yeah, because Lois gets killed.
Yeah, with Zod and all that shit.
Okay, and he puts them into the zone, whatever, what the fuck it's called. I don't remember. My dad would know.
I believe it's called the Twilight Zone.
Oh, okay, good.
The beer zone.
As they go by, you don't hear anything. It's like, as it goes by. Okay. Anything else?
Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think is correct.
The second one, yeah.
Like my last rewatch. I think that's it. That's all I got.
So out of these top movies that are written here, Empire Strikes Back is one of them. Aliens is one of them. Godfather Part 2, The Dark Knight, Terminator 2, Mad Max, Fury Road. It's technically Part 2.
Is it a Part 2?
Yeah, because it takes after the original one, Mad Max. The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Creed.
What?
And, yeah. Well, the first one was...
Creed 2? I'm talking about Creed to Rocky or Creed to Creed 2?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Fuck that.
Okay.
That's not on there.
And then...
Good movie, but yeah.
Like, it's obviously Dark Knight. Let me go to the bottom of this real quick. So this says... Paddington Bear 2 is the number one to Rotten Tomatoes. It's 99% Rotten Tomato, 88% viewer. Toy Story 2.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know if it's better than 1, but it's very, very good.
You've seen the Paddington Bears, right?
You know, funny enough, I've only seen 1. And
That's already good enough. That's so good.
And I'm like putting it off because I'm so excited for watching it because everyone says it's fucking amazing. Like,
it's good. It's super good.
It's pretty amazing already.
And you have Hugh in there.
Hugh Grant?
Yeah, Hugh Grant's the bad guy in the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, does Nicole Kidman die in the first one?
I don't know. I don't remember.
She's the bad guy, right? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. This says Toy Story 3.
That's pretty hard too. Yeah.
That ending, and they're all about to die. Mission Impossible Fallout.
Actually, the music in that reminds me of Terminator 2 music. Plus, it's like melting. It's like
It's all getting blind.
The steel factory or whatever. In
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
It's a Part 3, but okay.
Yes. Super Cop with Jackie Chan. I'll read two more. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers.
Oh yeah, actually yes.
Avengers Endgame. War of the Planet of the Apes. That's the third. That's the third one. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, with the little girl. Yeah, that came out in 2017. Yeah. So there was Planet of the Apes, and then there was. Well, no, whatever it was, because I remember Woody Harrelson's in the third one.
There's Rise.
That's the second one. So it's Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and then War.
No. The first one has a name. And everyone's like, wait.
Didn't Matt Reeves do them all?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like, everyone's like, wait, why isn't the first one named this and the second one's named this? Because when you switch the names, they make more sense.
This is all just showing me the War of. But let me see if
just look at his.
Matt Reeves.
Yeah. I guess we're pausing because you're just.
No, that's fine. Okay, so here it is. So it is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Dawn is Part 2.
So then the first one is
Rise.
Okay, then that's fine. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and then War.
But Dawn's the beginning. Dawn should be number 1, and Rise should be number 2, and then War should be number 3, which War is 3.
So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes domestically made $208 million. All right. It's pretty good. And then War, though, which is rated higher, made 146. Not as good. But
you're right. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
And the second one doesn't have Franco, which automatically
better. Automatically better.
Higher.
I would have liked to have known how he died, which is probably from the virus or something like that.
I would have liked to have seen him in bed, like shitting himself and eyes bleeding, like fucking Outbreak style.
Yeah, like Contagion style, fucking just dead.
No. I want him like. Did you ever watch Chernobyl?
Yeah.
With like the guys that have like nuclear point.
Yeah.
They're just like flesh melting off their body.
They just touch their body, just coming off.
That would have been
tragic,
good to see.
Which is very tragic.
It's the most terrible way to die, I'd imagine, but that would have been good to see for him.
Dark Knight, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, but that's like a fifth out of the whole series. Yeah. Thor Ragnarok, that was a third. Logan was a third. And I'll just say one more. Spider-Man 2.
I saw that on there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's
a lot.
true.
That's a good one.
Good.
Even the Star Trek, the second Star Trek one, the newer version.
Khan.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, that wasn't Khan. That was the third one. I don't remember who was the second one, but I like that too. Anyway, so yeah, I never had a list of 2s, but there's plenty of sequels that are better than the originals and stuff. Because Terminator wasn't bad at all. It's just not as memorable as 2. Because it really
just doesn't have like as tight a hold on my
dick.
On my groin pieces.
Yeah, on my fucking
on my conscience as part 2, just because I've seen part 2 I don't know how many times, and 1 I've seen I think once or twice.
If you had to put a number on how many times you've seen Terminator 2, how many would it be? I'd say in the 20s for me.
20 probably.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, like every fucking stupid DVD version and every metal case that came out that I had to have for some fucking reason because I'm a dumb shit.
You remember I gave you mine, the Blu-ray one, because I bought it. Let's just say I bought one in 2017. I was like, sweet, audio commentary, all this stuff, yay. And then I bought another one thinking it was a different version.
This one's steel. This one's titanium.
Yeah, this one's adamantium. But then I realized it was the exact same version. I was like, motherfucker. So I gave it to you because I don't think you had one on Blu-ray yet.
Correct.
And something that I will say about this movie, when he was using the little pin reader on the ATM, like the little tiny laptop thingamajig, I had one of those. Not that exact thing, like not to get a pin number, but like I've always...
A lot of crimes you're admitting to on this episode.
Well, you know, you can't prove anything, right? And if you don't get caught, it's not a crime. So I had one of those. I don't know what happened to it. I feel like my mom took it away because she was punishing me, and then I never got it back, and then just that's where it is. So I've always been into tech, though, like getting newer phones, building my own computers, doing all this shit. Have you been into tech that way? Like,
not really.
Not even, okay. Move the mic closer to you, fool. Because you have to lean forward to talk, like, you know how
it's more comfortable this way. Fuck you.
Okay, sorry. So you've never really been into video games either, right?
No, not at all.
Is there a reason?
I'm cool, and you're all fucking nerds.
I would go and say that being a gamer is still very popular.
It's fine. It's
10 years ago, no, like you're a fucking nerd. But then nowadays, you know, you have the streamers. Unfortunately, you have the ninjas. Not unfortunately, I got nothing against Ninja. You know what I'm talking about, right? The streamer. Yeah. A couple years ago, he was doing the fucking...
I know they all say the N-word at some point and they get in trouble, but that's
probably.
all I know.
Well, that was PewDiePie has said that. I don't know him at all, really at all. But anyway, the Ninja guy, very popular, grew overnight and then exponentially fell apart. Like he doesn't have the same followers and stuff like that.
I am happy in that they found a way to make money. Apparently a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm,
some of them. Mm-hmm. But it is short-lived. So I'm like, okay, good. I don't want them making that much more money than me for their entire lives. But
one contract alone.
For that little window.
Ninja made $40 million just by signing with Microsoft's streaming service platform that didn't last more than like 6 months. And $40 million.
And that went down and he got to keep the money and he just went back to what he was doing before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
He went back to Twitch. And
anytime anyone can get a gaggle of money from some corporation... And
you
just
had me a gag.
Yeah. Like fucking run them, bleed them dry. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Really quick, I'm sorry. I watched the clip of Community recently where they're trying to break into that office. So Troy, Abed, and... what was Alison Brie's character's name?
Amy.
They're trying to break into the place, and he's like, okay, Amy, you stay here, you keep watch. And she's like, no, I don't want to keep watch. And she's like getting upset, and her boobs are bouncing. And then she's like, all I'm good for is like a distraction. And then the camera turns at the 2 shot of them, and they're just looking at her boobs. And she goes, ah! It's like, you guys, if I have this, I hope you get caught. You suck. And she like walks away. And then Troy's like, what did she just say? And Abed's like, I don't know. He's like, all I heard was suck. And just Donald Glover. I've been compared to him. I don't know if I ever told you that.
Donald Glover?
But like his humor and like his manners and stuff like that, like the way, but like his sense of humor, I've been compared to. But the way he said, all I heard was suck. Like the way he said it was so good. I remember laughing so hard. And the whole show is just so fucking good.
Community's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. And they're making their movie now. So good for them. Anyway, back to this movie. Fuck. You've not been in tech. You've never been in video games, but you just never your thing.
Yeah, just I don't know.
I know you and I play video games well because I get you.
I will play them.
Right. Just like I've gotten you to play basketball for. You don't. So
I don't do things.
I know you don't. Right. So there was a time that
I love puzzles.
Mm-hmm. You like Sudoku
and reading.
Yeah.
And movies.
Very great things to like as a hobby to read
and music,
to write music. You've played music.
I play stuff. Fuck you.
I've got. Okay, I'm not.
I can play a video game. I can play guitar. Fuck you. What can you play, motherfucker?
I cannot do any of that.
Yeah, thank you.
But I've gotten you to write a couple scripts. Like you definitely do things, but there's just no reason for video games. Like you, even with your brother, like he didn't play.
I mean, we
games?
had a PlayStation 2.
Okay,
and that was
Metal Gear.
Yeah,
Twisted Metal probably. Anything else that you might have played?
video games. Call
Crash,
Medal of Honor.
Okay,
Frontline.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah. When you go back and play that game and you see the difficulty in that not being hard and compared to current games, because like you remember those old games, there'd be one guy here and there or something, just mostly open field. It's like, whether you play the games now, I mean, they're rich in textures and all this shit. Anyway,
Yeah, they look pretty, and I appreciate them, but I don't play them.
Okay, so
get off my case, bro.
I'm sorry. Nikki Cox was in this movie.
Yeah, for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, for that second. I think he said he's gonna go down. Like she knew exactly where he was going. I think I heard him say he's gonna go exactly at this time. He's gonna be at the promenade.
He might be over there somewhere. So just go about 47 feet, make a left. Ask the guy what time it is.
You go over the bridge, and then you're there.
It's a lovely accent there.
Yeah, Austria. Why fall? Okay, when Arnold got pushed through the glass, why did that seem to incapacitate him for 30 seconds? Like, what do you think? Is it just like, because I've always wondered that, because he's a fucking Terminator. So he got thrown through glass, mind you, just shattered immediately because he's probably, I don't know, 1,000 pounds.
I mean, he turns his head for like 5 seconds.
But then it seems like he's way behind the other two.
Because he's fast.
No, I don't like that. Shut that down. I found some flaws in this movie, Mike. So actually, something I didn't notice, I think you said, the scene where Arnold does the thumbs up when he's with John, I never saw that before. Like when Sarah,
the very end of the movie scene,
no, that I've said. So when they fix the car and stuff like that, and John's teaching him like the low five, high five and stuff, and he does the thumbs up. I never saw that.
Really?
Because later in the movie, when Arnold is showing Dyson, he's like, how do you set this off? He's like, use this. He goes, I thought he does a thumbs up, but
he does like the little clicky sound too.
That's what I thought, but he does a thumbs up. He doesn't do that. He goes.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
And so he's so because he's learning, right?
Yeah.
He's like, with this, and so I was like, oh my fucking god! Like I never noticed that before, and now I feel like it just.
Well, it's funny because I read that Arnold was a little worried about the shooting of the movie because he knew Terminator had to learn and become more human, but they shot it out of order like they do most movies. So James is fucking crazy when he's directing. So he thought he would lose a little bit of the learning, like, oh, what part of the movie is this, and how human should I be? How cyborgy should I be? But I thought he does a great job.
Yeah,
like by that end I love
that
end.
Since this isn't the director's cut, you don't see the scene where they remove his CPU for him to learn,
right?
Because in the director's cut of the movie, when they are
in the garage,
when they're in the garage and he's stitching up Sarah and stuff like that, and John's looking at his other jacket, they want Arnold to not be as robotic. Not just be a cyborg. They want him to be as human as possible. So they have to remove his CPU for him to do that. And when they do that, Sarah's about to break it. She's going to shatter it with a hammer, and John covers it and stops Sarah from doing it because she wants the Terminator to be dead. That would have been a very big mistake if she did that, because John would most certainly be dead.
Oh yeah, of course.
Did. So they do that, and then Arnold starts to learn and catch things. That's why. But they do it so quickly. He's like, he just says, I'm learning this. And that's how they cover it. So I don't know if they had an alternate take of that or whatever it is, but because in that great scene where he's looking in the mirror and it wasn't actually him from when it was behind him, that was just the stand-in. And so Arnold's on the other side and they have to just mimic exactly. That's why you don't see Sarah's face on the one side either. But I talked to Mike before we started recording, and I asked him, like, did you like this version better? Did you like that version? Like, do you prefer, what's the difference with director's cuts? And then my thought was always just like, oh, they cut it for time. But Mike's made the point that, what did you say? It was pacing and stuff too. And do you prefer to watch a movie director's cut or the regular theatrical?
I like to start. I mean, at the very least, I like to start with the theatrical cut.
Okay. I mean, if you're Peter Jackson, that's a good option. Yeah. Because you're watching a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, because I don't have
4 hours.
14 hours to watch a movie and a half.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the same time, though.
I want to know those fucking bastards who bought the Hobbit extended editions and sat through all of those. I'm like, are you that big a fucking fan?
Rough.
All right, that is rough.
I didn't think the Hobbits were that bad, though, truly. Like, in comparison to Lord of the Rings, they suck dick. But, like, they were still great to me. But Lord of the Rings is by far the superior of the 3 of the trilogies. And what I'm waiting for is a... what was that one that he did with Michael J? Was that... No, not Scanners. Where he saw ghosts.
Frighteners.
I fucking love that movie. It's really good. They made Frighteners 2, Frighten Harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like that's our fucking joke. And then Frighteners 3 to the max. I don't know. Anyhow, so what notes do you have, Michael? Because I have many notes more.
Let's talk a little bit, and I think I mentioned this earlier. Let's talk a little bit about time travel causality.
Okay. Let's get deep in this bitch.
What is happening?
Let me start with this question for you, Brandon, about time travel. What? So what do you mean, though?
So if we're on a straight timeline, right? The first time through Earth or whatever, like
Earth.
Sarah never meets. Oh, what's the guy's name? Michael Bean?
Reese. Kyle
Reese. She never meets him, right?
R.I.P. Anton Yelkin.
So then who is the leader of the resistance in the future if Kyle Reese isn't there to impregnate her and have John Connor alive?
So,
unless this has been answers, I wasn't paying attention.
No. So let's use Terminator 1. Kyle Reese is sent back in time to stop the original Terminator.
Correct.
He fucks Sarah.
Hell yeah.
And makes John.
Fuck yeah.
But he dies, unfortunately, in the past. That doesn't mean that he's not going to be born, though, still. So even though his adult version goes back in time, stops that current thing from happening.
Right.
So
because you can kill the later version, it doesn't mean you didn't kill the younger version.
So realistically, Kyle Reese was close to the age of John anyway. So I think he was a little bit younger, I believe. So let's just say John is now 10. Kyle, in Terminator 2, let's just say John's 10. Was he 10? Let's just say he's 10, just to make it.
Oh, what's he supposed to be in the movie?
Yeah.
11 or something?
John's 11. I would say Kyle is like 7 at this time, maybe 6. So I think Kyle is already alive at this time too.
Okay.
When John's already a kid. So, the old Kyle.
So he could have gone back and just punched his 10-year-old self.
If he wanted to.
Like, suck it, kid.
Yeah. Hey, you're going to. Why? But yeah, so him dying in the past changes nothing in the future.
Right.
Well, it actually, him going back changed the whole future already, because if they went back, the Terminator and stuff like that, so now Sarah is aware of what's going to happen, so she's going to make changes in her life and changes for John, so that's already affecting that future. But technically, that future that's already happened. Right. So I think even though when you think of time travel, you think of Avengers, how they do that. You think of I can't think. Just timelines. Back to the Future. Like one little change makes a big difference. Biff getting that almanac. Love Back to the Future too. Probably my favorite out of the three of them. Changed everything, right? And that's why they couldn't let old man Biff know that when they went back in time that anything was different, because then he would just go back again and do it again and do it again. So I just watched Back to the Future too. That's why it's so fresh in my head. It's so good though. Robert Zemeckis fucking killed it, except for Polar Express. Jesus Christ, it was frightening. So anyway, so with Kyle Reese, no difference on the future still, but it has changed things. So obviously Terminator 2 is going to change more.
But what I'm asking is, did older John, send Kyle back in Terminator 1? Because I have because I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't remember.
Older John? What do you mean older John?
Did John, adult John, leader of the Resistance, send back Kyle to protect his mom?
Well, I think that...
Because in this one, it explicitly says John sends back the Terminator himself to protect himself.
Yes.
Correct?
So
they show him with a scar.
But he never knew who his dad was. If you remember, Sarah never told him who his dad was.
Okay.
So he says like, oh, it's my dad, or I don't know who it is. He says that to the kid from Salute Your Shorts. Yeah. He doesn't know who the son is. Or, I'm sorry, the dad. So that's probably a way to protect this too. So if it does happen, that he can send Kyle back again and not have any change, because he's still gonna fuck Sarah. And yeah, I think the way this movie was done, time travel wise and stuff like that, it all still works. Yeah. It's just that it's still changing the future each time a Terminator goes back. Just like in number 3, which I didn't think number 3 was that bad, wasn't that good, but it wasn't. I think if I had those 3, it would be Terminator 2.
It's fucking terrible.
Terminator 2, Terminator 1, and then Terminator 3. I don't think of Dark Fate. I don't think of any of those.
Genesis is the best.
Genesis,
as long as we all agree,
was so bad.
Genesis or Dark Fate are all the best.
Dark Fate I think the biggest thing within the first 5 minutes, I hated Dark Fate because Christian Bale, great, but that atomic bomb that goes off within the first 5 minutes, and he's like, I don't know, 2 miles away, and he's like, oh, cool. Like, he's just watching it. I was like, you motherfucker, you're dead. You're vaporized. Like that, and that might have been a hydrogen bomb, so that's got to be like a 40-mile radius, not like a typical atomic bomb, which is 15.
Depending on the yield, I don't know.
That's exactly. So, depending on the megaton, I need to know the accurate numbers. And then Genesis. I mean, the way that
well, because you have like the first fucking atomic bomb that goes off in Hiroshima. That's they're like, oh, it's 10,000 sticks of TNT, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Compared to like the fucking Tsar bomb test that fucking Russia did, that was like 50 megatons.
I've seen the
The
scale.
fucking ripples fucking run around Earth twice. There's a difference in the yield.
I've seen the scale of the mushroom cloud of them, and it's like, you guys can't see the gesture I'm doing. Let's just think of like an inch. Hold like an inch in between your fingers, and then for the Russian one, hold like your hands different from each other, like at least 1.5 feet apart.
Yeah,
like it was humongous, and Russia's not fucking around. Let me tell you. But yeah, that was a humongous megaton. Anyway, time travel in this movie. It's fucked up in Genesis with Emily Clark and whoever the fuck else was in that. That movie ended on a cliffhanger sort of too, like after the credits. And I was like, okay, there's not going to be another one, nope. But hey. And then the one that came out again with Linda and Arnold, of course, the girl from *Halt and Catch Fire*. It came out like maybe 2019.
Oh, I don't
I didn't see it. I actually heard that one was okay though. My dad saw it, of course. He said it was fine, but it was no Terminator. Yeah. It'll never be. Anyway, what else do you have to say about time travel? Because I think it worked.
Well, it's just confusing because like John sends himself back, and if the T-1000 succeeds, how did he send himself back? If he was killed, blah blah.
Well, that's the thing. None of that stuff happened. So, okay, here's the only thing that ever happened. That, as far as you know, in Terminator 1, John sends back Kyle. Kyle fucks Sarah, makes John, and then that's it.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
But then, like, since that Terminator went back and did all that shit, now the Terminator's now, let's just think you're still in that original timeline with John still alive. And he sent that Terminator, he's still alive, right? Because Sarah didn't die. So the world continues. And then now the Terminators are like, let's send back another motherfucker. So now let's just say this is 5 years later, and they send back the T-1000, and then he sends back the T-800 to save him. So again, Arnold succeeds, time continues on. And then in the third one, I don't know. I imagine they said
that's the thing. Like which they do succeed.
Yeah.
Right.
Then he would be dead. Then he wouldn't exist. He technically should not exist.
Who shouldn't exist?
John. If the Terminator that's sent back
to kill him, they succeed. Sarah and John and T-800 succeed because they destroy the endo arm and the chip.
Yeah.
So then,
is it endo or exo? It doesn't matter.
Exo, whatever. Okay. So then Skynet never gets formed. So then the war never happens.
They do still form though, because the third one. So in the second one, they destroy all that shit.
Yeah, but fuck the rest of that stuff.
Just let me. So they destroy the arm. They destroy the CPU. They destroy Arnold. And then I believe what they said in the third one was that, like, I laugh because it's like, oh, this little snippet of data survived, and then we were able to
extrapolate,
go from there, and then there is the virus, and then that's the virus, and the Skynet was the program that was supposed to save them from the virus, but it turns out it was them the whole time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, that kind of kills like how like beautiful the ending of this movie is. Like talking about cause and effect, like the very existence of the rest of those movies makes the end of this movie moot and pointless. Because the end of this movie is so beautiful in that now that she knows that her fate isn't set in stone, they're just on the road to an unknown future.
On the road again.
Yeah. On the road again. And those monsters never come be my friends. Anyway.
Thanks.
Because now the future is up in air. They're not fated to destroy the world.
Correct. Some might even say they have a dark fate.
They have a dark fate. Well, because apparently, like, there was supposed to be another scene that I guess they never got filmed, but it's like an old Sarah, playing or watching John play with his kids because he's like a senator now, and like the world isn't destroyed.
Thank God they didn't do that scene. Right. Fuck.
This one is cooler and more poetic. It actually seems kind of abrupt to me too. Like almost like the movie should end at the thumb going into the steel. But it's like just a nice little coda right at the end. Like
she's following the dark. She's driving through the middle of the street, which is very weird.
Like fucking pick a lane, lady.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. Like you thought your future and fate was decided already, and now here you are, and it's unknown.
Every 5 to 10 years, there's gonna be a Terminator.
Everything is possible until the fucking third one comes out, and you're like, okay, now you can't escape fate. Like it is, the world is determined, and you have no say in it, which is kind of a bummer if you think about it that way.
And even in the third one, the female Terminator kills some very important people that take place in the future. She kills like a couple like teenagers and stuff like that are going to be commanders and
Oh
generals.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
So yeah, I would say that is accurate. That like she has to live the rest of her life looking over her shoulder and John's shoulders. That's why.
No, but she doesn't. Or at least at the end of this movie, she shouldn't have to, because they've changed the future.
You would think, yeah, exactly. And that's how I think John was living in the third one, because now Sarah's dead, but he's still kind of on the run, just to kind of not to stay in one place for too long, because just in case. And that's why he's doing the odd job. He's going city to city, whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, it fucking ruins the entire mythology of this movie.
Well, that's the thing, though. So in the newest the newest Terminator one, whatever it was called, at the beginning of it, it throws everything out the window.
Okay.
Because Arnold comes back in time and kills John, like destroys him, like just goosh, like shotgun, and then he shoots him even on the ground. And Sarah tries to stop him, she can't stop him, kills John, and then he just leaves. And that's like the thing, right? So, but now the premise is this: now with John dead, that obviously changed the future. But then there were other people that were a part of his like organization that took over for him, in the future. So it's like, fuck. Even for the Terminators, they're still having the same future, because okay, now him not there,
so no one can escape.
Exactly.
Fate.
So that's the thing that.
So you're saying, wait? So fate affects machines as well as humans, is what you're saying?
I would think everything should have a cause and effect.
So like the universe is predetermined, is what this entire series is trying to. I think
if you pay attention to the Marvel Cinematic Universe too. Everything is predestined. Would that be right? When you have people watching at all times, not the Vision. It's not the Vision. It's the Watchers. They just know all. They see all the universes and stuff like that. And if that's the other case, this could be a different universe that Arnold kills John like this or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
they could easily say something like that. Alternate timeline, or something like that. So.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. But like, you can do that as the filmmaker or whatever. You could just, oh yeah, that's its own thing. This is its own thing. This is a different universe. It's like, well, fuck. Like, then what's the point? So,
that's what I'm saying. Like, what is the point?
Wouldn't
is what I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Like, why is she trying so hard if fate is already determined and there's nothing you can do to change it?
Yeah.
Other than put a fucking bullet in your mouth.
Or head, or chest, knees and toes. To get back to the movie real quick.
Wait, that's all we're talking about.
Well, I don't know. Like, if it is all preset, if it is all predestined, like, then you just got to fucking roll with it, bro. And you got to look over your shoulder the rest of your life. Now, well,
because if that's the case, that means like the main framework of the universe is already decided. You just have to figure out where you fit in that little puzzle. Like, what piece are you going to be?
It's like in Westworld.
Like, can you change what piece you are at the very least? Even though the road is heading up or downhill.
What movie? There's been many movies. What movies is it? Like you're set. Like, it's like in Futurama. They have their chip in their hand, so that's their career. No matter what, you got to do what you got to do. That was the slogan that they had. And Fry was always going to be a delivery boy. Leela was always going to be this, but they took out their chips and they did something different. So they were able to change themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
So maybe in the Terminator universe you can. Maybe Sarah's like, fuck it, I don't kill the motherfucker.
Which is what the end of this movie says. But if you continue the series, as soon as number 3 exists, then all that bullshit, all that that fun unknown road stuff is just down the toilet, because you can't do anything about it.
Sure.
That's literally what that part 3 end says. Like, oh, we're just here to be safe. Yeah. Because we can't change the future.
Yeah.
We're just here to
they're in the bomb shelter or whatever.
Help facilitate it.
Yeah. Because you got those countries calling in like, what do we do? This is John. Okay, John, I don't give a fuck. What are we supposed to do? And then he's this Drake general. We've already been recording for over an hour and 10 minutes.
Hell yeah.
It seems like it's been not that long. The other notes that I have. So the great line that Arnold delivers, your foster parents are dead. Great line. Deadpan, fucking perfect. That whole hospital scene where Sarah's escaping and the Terminator, the 2000s attacking. Yeah. So good. And then
I love the security guard lady's pompadour haircut.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is.
Yeah. She hits
forward thinking.
Now, she's wearing a fucking cast. Even though she hit him, that should still hurt her. Unless it's like fully healed, she hasn't gotten it taken off yet. But that should still fucking hurt her if she broke her wrist or something like that. Because the point of the cast is to keep your hand from moving, to get straight. And if you're hitting somebody that hard that it turns a Terminator's head, who's made of metal, you break his fucking cool glasses.
Yeah.
Like, you think that would hurt? And he just pushes her head, which I thought, okay, at least this Terminator's not...
back at it. He's not Sean Connery every woman he meets.
Well, the guys, he throws one into the window. He throws the other through a door. Throws the other one to a wall. Her, he just pushes her face, and she goes back 15 feet. Which, again, that probably hurts still very much. But, like, the other guys, he's destroying. But her, just pushes her face.
Yeah, because she just hits a wall, right? It's like, dink, oy.
No, that's a guy.
Oh, hits the wall?
What he just pushes her, and she just slides away.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, well, did he, like, break her neck? Like, what is this?
Well, no, he doesn't kill anybody anymore.
That's true. He'll live. So, so there's a scene where when he pulls the chains to show all those guns, you see veins in his head and his neck. I'm like, would a Terminator show veins and stuff like that? Even when he's repairing the car, you hear him go, ugh. Like he's grunting. And I'm thinking, would a Terminator grunt? Because he's a fucking robot. He doesn't even breathe. I wrote the thumbs up. I never noticed a thumbs up. Random dude helping them load the truck. So you meet Enrique. You meet the wife. You meet the little boy that he picks up. And like maybe two of the other kids. But there's some rando dude wearing a cowboy hat, like helping them load the truck or the van. Dean Norris. I haven't known, of course, Dean Norris. So when Sarah's pinned down, right? She's pinned down. She's behind a cart that has wheels. So she could have pushed that cart to get to that door opening or something like that. But then he has to break through the wall. And
he means like she's pinned down by gunfire.
He's absolutely right. But like, so she looks around that cart and she's like, man, that doorway is like 10 feet. I'm stuck. But then when you see the camera view of it, when they're watching the cameras, it has wheels on it. And then my last note, two notes. Here, hold this. Great line. Yeah. And then the guy immediately, like how quickly the gas is there. Here, hold this. And he takes the mask off. Guys, like let's just say mask off.
Mask off.
Like immediately he fucking gags. So did he just take that big breath?
Wait, let me say it right. A mask off. A mask off.
And then lastly, when the T-1000 is split, maybe you think some Cronenberg shit.
Yeah.
Like when it splits open, like it's some body gore. David Cronenberg? David Cronenberg shit. If you know who Cronenberg is, he did the movie The Fly. What else did he do?
Scanners, History of Violence.
Just movies that are gross sometimes. History of Violence was fucking loud. History of Violence it's gory, but it's not like body dysmorphia. And he did another movie just recently with Vigo. And where they show the inside of a body, it's like moving. I don't know what that is.
I forgot what it's called. Yeah.
Okay. Good for him. Still doing work. Anyway, Mike, what other notes do you have about this movie?
Speaking of like little things you never noticed before, although I didn't
Arnold
notice
Schwarzenegger's in this movie.
I did notice this the last time I watched it. The time before this, so maybe, I don't know, a year ago or whatever.
Okay.
Miles Bennett Dyson. I always call him Dr. Miles Bennett Dyson, but he just calls him Miles Bennett Dyson. Yeah. And then when he's in the office, hey, Mr. Dyson, can you check? I'm like, why did I think he was a doctor in my head? Because if you look at Wikipedia, it says he's a doctor. Well, first of all, I like how he got his name from Neil deGrasse Tyson, just smart black guy with 3 names. That's okay. I'm assuming this is where Neil got his name, but that's one thing. But I don't know why in my mind I always thought he says doctor, but when I watched the movie, I'm like, fuck, he just says Mister. So I don't know. I don't know when the character they decide to give him a PhD or whatever.
I don't think I ever called him doctor either. I always said Miles Bennett Dyson.
Oh well, now I'm just fucking.
But then what was the son's name? Max?
I don't know.
Because I thought there was a play on that. Like if his name was Miles, his son's name was like Foot.
Kilometer Dyson.
And I thought it'd be fun if just thinking of it now, let's just say there's never a Terminator 3 and they made one that the son was a part of their group now to fight like Cyberdyne or something like that too. Because like if you really think about it, the biggest loser of this whole movie is Miles Bennett Dyson's family. Like the Terminators they succeed in saving John. And
well, also the Earth doesn't get destroyed. Like they're part of the Earth too.
I get that. But like,
hey, I mean, what's more important, your husband's life or 3 billion people? She says 3 billion.
Yeah,
right?
she's 3 billion. She does. Yeah.
Fucking tough.
I get it. So okay, let's just say this: you're on a train, a runaway train.
Never
and you get
back on a
you get me on one side of the track. That if you go that way, it kills me, or you go the other way, it kills. Let's be fair. 1,000 people.
Okay.
You're gonna choose me, right?
I like to think I wouldn't, But,
I get it.
It's hard to decide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you never know. Those 1,000 people could be fucking assholes. Who knows? So it's either you're out your best friend or you got an extra 1,000 assholes still alive. So I get it that you would choose the one over many. But fuck that. I veto that. And if ever there's a choice, you always choose to save me. That chain's got to take out those 1,000. I don't care who the fuck they are. If you got Greta Van Fleet, you got DeGrasse, you got all these big smart people doing things for the world, and then me, you're saving me. There's no if anyone's about it. Yeah. The complete discography of every Beatle song ever made,
all the recordings,
masters, of all your favorite bands. So anyway, we haven't decided what's the next movie then. Like,
no fucking idea.
Okay, we'll figure it out. So, did you have any other notes?
That's pretty much it. I mean, we can touch on the amazing special effects. Like,
still holds up.
Fucking still holds up.
Still holds up to this day.
There's a VFX crew that does like YouTube videos. Like, hey, let's recreate this. See how it does. So they try to do the T-1000 walking through the bars and like his gun gets stuck.
Yeah.
So they try to just redo it themselves, and it didn't look anywhere near us. They're like, we don't know how they fucking did it. Like, it looks super good in the movie. Like, theirs looks kind of like jello-ier, like the flesh is like wobbly. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't know how they did it like so good, but that's like, well, this is 30 years later. I'm like, oh, it still holds up.
That was what the light and magic or whatever, the Star Wars, right?
Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah. I mean, again, all holds up, even with the miniatures and stuff like that. It still looks very good. There's something I thought of with that beginning when it says Terminator 2 Judgment Day and there's those flames coming. I'm like, how did they do that? Like, what did they blow up, or what did they use a flame?
Probably just flames.
I know, but like I'm thinking, like, how do they just have a camera above something? But either way,
just like Independence Day, like they make that explosion, like it's just the camera pointing up and the flames shooting up vertically.
Yeah,
and then it looks like it's on its
and
sideways.
They just turn it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Well, we don't know what the next movie is going to be, but I'm sure by the time I write the bio for this episode, we'll know. I can always post it on social media as well. And
I mean, if we're going to do the alphabet thing, it's probably either Apocalypse Now or Apocalypto, just because I haven't seen it in a long time. I'd like to see it.
Okay.
But we have to do with a lot of bullshit.
Mel Gibson bullshit.
Or, yeah.
So. And there's a lot of it because that motherfucker's, he's making another Lethal Weapon. He's making another, again, Passion of the Christ. So we appreciate you guys listening to this episode, and also don't forget to listen to Weekly BM, which we will be posting those episodes
simultaneously.
Opposite. I don't want to post them same day.
Okay.
So we'll do Weekly BM.
Oh, every other?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
We'll record them together, so that way it's just.
Gotcha.
So we'll do Weekly BM, and then I'll post same day or that weekend, and then Spectacular will be the next weekend.
Very smart.
Hey. I don't be called many things. I'm not called many things.
Oh, we got it. We just from that.
Smart's not one of them, but clearly. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. And Mike, why don't you take us away?
I mean, I sang it a little bit, so let's sing it here again.
Okay.
Spectacular, gonna on a train, gonna watch some movies all day. Think that I could be getting. That's all I got.
Well, you had it so good.
Well, I mean, fuck you.